Welcome to the Common Man Sports Show. I am your host, Nick Antoniadis, along with Brandon Kramer and Mikey Malashchek. And Mike Morrell is going to join us in just a little bit. We finally got some football. We have not been talking about football in a bit. It's mainly because we're all busy, but we're here to talk about some football. The Super Bowl has finally come to the close. The Kansas City Chiefs are your now back-to-back Super Bowl champions, the last time since the New England Patriots. You could say it was a shock, but according to the script, we had the Kansas City Chiefs winning this NFL Super Bowl. So now we're finally going to be talking about the offseason. We're going to talk about the NFL draft in a different video, but today we're going to be talking about a couple things in particular. But the first thing we want to talk about is the possible cuts that could happen in this NFL offseason. So usually in the NFL offseason, they have some shocking cuts that happens on specific teams, like a superstar in the team that would get cut. There was one year that DeMarco Murray got cut from the Tennessee Titans in 2017. Tyrann Mathieu when he got cut from the Arizona Cardinals. Richard Sherman with the Seahawks. Jordy Nelson with the Packers. And Dez Bryant when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. So this year is going to be a little interesting to see what teams are going to be doing with their superstars. So I'm going to open up the room to anyone who wants to start off with this. Who is one player in particular that you could possibly see being cut from their team this offseason?
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a guarantee. I mean, they don't cut him by, I think it's March 1st. Guarantees another $39 million. I mean, his cap hit's going to be $85 million, so they'll spread that out over 2 years. So they're going to be in cap hell, which is fake for a while. But I've been hearing Russell Wilson, Jamal Adams is most likely getting cut. Blitz Boy is not good. The Jets got a massive haul for him. There's just, I mean, with cuts, a lot of the times it's just guys that, they could still play, but they just have massive salary cap hits that teams just don't want to deal with. So I think Russell Wilson and Jamal Adams are definitely big cut candidates. I mean, I've been hearing some things. Nick Chubb sadly could be a cap casualty because, he is due for an extension, but his knee went the wrong way. So who knows if he'll ever be the same again. But yeah, I think we can start finding out Tuesday. I think whenever the new league year starts, which I believe is the 19th or the 20th, we'll start seeing those cuts. And then Russell Wilson and his 17 toilets will finally move out of Denver.
I'm going to say that I'm going to make a big one here and say I think Joe Mixon could be in.
Yeah, no, I was seeing that too.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too.
So, I mean, I don't think it's likely because I think
it is likely.
Well, I think the Bengals want to keep kicking the can as long as they can because, as we say, the cap is a myth. But at the end of the day, while Mixon is a great running back, I think they're going to want to say, let's keep Burrow with the best or second best receiving core in the league, and we can find another running back. I mean,
they have Cam Brown, who was explosive.
The star power of that offense is Burrow with Higgins and Chase. So.
And a bunch of Oompa Loompas on the offensive line.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure they, if they could keep him, they would. But my guess is they're gonna opt to keep Higgins, maybe even give him an extension, and let Mixon walk.
I like this pick.
Just make sure he doesn't go to a Waffle House. Last time I went to a Waffle House, it was not good.
Good. I also been hearing some rumors that the Raiders are also going to be possibly releasing Jimmy G as well. I've been hearing stuff about that. I mean, that's pretty obvious right there. I mean, ever since the Raiders started downfalling,
he also just got popped for steroids.
Yeah, he did. He's going to be suspended, I think, the first 2 games or 4 games of the season with the PED substance. So his time with the Raiders is going to come to an end. I want to ask you guys this. One in particular that I actually just recently saw that could possibly happen is Keenan Allen. It could possibly happen because look, this Chargers team is not good. I mean, we saw it this previous season. They got rid of their head coach. Justin Herbert, you can say whatever you want, but he's a
social media quarterback.
He's a social media quarterback. He's overrated as shit. And they might just give the attention to Mike Williams at this point and just let Keenan Allen go, even though last season was one of his best seasons. he's the Chargers are $45 million over the cap. I believe Keenan Allen's making like half of that with this team. So chances are his time at Los Angeles is going to come to an end. And honestly, he's going to get a big contract wherever he goes. Everyone wants to have Keenan Allen on their team.
And their owner is ridiculously cheap, right? The Chargers.
You're Spanos!
Yeah, he's cheap.
So the cap hits actually Khalil Mack is the biggest with 38.5 million. If you cut him before like that June 1st deadline, they save 23 million. Bosa has 36.6 million and Keenan Allen has 34.7 million in cap.
There you go.
Yeah, I think they'll trade Bosa, trade Mack, and keep Keenan Allen.
All right, I'm going to throw in a follow-up question here. Who isn't going to be cut but should be cut?
So that could be a tough one.
Others, I think I have one.
In my personal opinion, I think Brandon's not going to like this, but I think Daniel Jones is not going to get cut.
He can't get cut till the end of next year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Can't get cut. There's no chance they're cutting him this year because it would be 90 million in cap.
Honestly,
cap.
another one that could possibly that I wanted to see get cut, but he's probably going to stay anyway. Alvin Kamara. I mean, the Saints is projected to get $82 million over the salary cap, and
they're always over. I don't know how they fucking do it.
I don't know, but I mean, Alvin Kamara. I know that he was suspended the first 4 games with.
Yeah, he viciously
viciously
assaulted someone in Vegas.
Okay, so
on that same topic, Von Miller should probably get cut, but he's not going to.
Von Miller legit made money for getting in cardio.
And he also assaulted his girlfriend, allegedly.
Just like Zay Flowers.
So, but I think they're going to say, oh, he was coming back from a tough injury. We got to keep him. And also, it's kind of a similar situation to Daniel Jones, where they're going to be in more cap hell if they cut him. So
yeah, but with the thing with Daniel Jones is he has the out in his contract at the end of 2024. So they can cut him and only have 20 million in dead cap. So
yeah.
I actually think there's someone. Oh, what's his fucking name? Someone on the Saints will get cut.
Michael Thomas?
I don't think the. Yes, thank you, Michael
there
Thomas.
You go. Yeah.
I can let me see if I can find his cap hit.
The basic white name for a black man.
It's 12 mil, but like, who the fuck wants to pay Michael Thomas 12 mil?
I mean, he hasn't been the same ever since, like, you can even say, like ever since he won Offensive Player of the Year, honestly. That was probably the only time that, like, he's been even good. Now, I want to ask you this, Brandon. Would you consider the Giants releasing Darren Waller so in the draft, you can draft Brock Bowers?
So, here's the thing. If Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze or somehow a quarterback is available at 6, you take them. As much as I love Brock Bowers, I don't really like drafting a tight end in the top 10 unless he's generational. And that word is being thrown out way too often now. There's only 2 generational prospects in this draft class, Caleb Williams and Marv. Brock Bowers is, my player comp to him is a George Kittle, Sam Laporta type. He's good. Mm-hmm. Not worth the 6th overall pick. I would rather take a chance on the rapper and fentanyl addict Darren Waller, who we love, and hopefully he's
been sober. He's been sober.
And he's rapping, and people just say he has CTE, but no, he makes his music because it makes him not go back on drugs. I mean, I kind of knew he was going to get hurt. I mean, you're playing on the worst turf, I would say, in all of sports. I don't think there's a worse turf. I'm surprised no one in the hockey game got hurt because, even though it's ice, who the fuck knows?
This is a little bit of turf in the.
I can see the Giants restructuring Darius Slayton's contract. They're definitely going to cut Glowinski with his $7 million cap hit. As much as I like Brock Bowers, I think he's going to fall out of the top 10. That's not a bad thing, though. It's not a bad thing, though. I mean, if we wanted to, we could also add a draft segment to this. I have no issues doing it. But this draft is going to be one of the more unpredictable drafts because the top 3 pretty much, or the top 2, it's going to be quarterbacks. Caleb's first, but then number 2 can go either way.
So do you see, like, let's just say the Bears do not trade that draft pick, which I honestly believe that they will. But
I'm sorry to interrupt. There's no chance unless they get 5 first-round picks. They're not trading that first overall pick. They've come out and said it would take a massive haul. And just think of it. The 49ers gave up like 3 firsts to get Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
So unless Washington's like, hey, here's 5 first-round draft picks, they're going to be like, okay, go fuck yourself.
I mean, and also the other thing is, like, I think teams are afraid to do that because look what happened last year. The Panthers trade away, a bunch of picks and DJ Moore to the Bears, and they drafted Bryce Young, and we already know what happened with Bryce Young. I feel bad for Bryce, but give me a fucking break. Come on.
I mean, if they have that number on overall pick, they would be taking Marvin Harrison Jr. at the first overall pick.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
and also, like, who just got hired by the Commanders?
Cliff Kingsbury.
And Caleb Williams Caleb Williams got nuts about that. The script says it all, man. Caleb Williams is going to be a Washington Commander.
And then he's gonna have like 8 games where he's gonna be MVP, and then that offense is gonna be figured out. Because I will say this,
exactly.
Cliff Kingsbury.
I think you got way too many. I think it's gonna be more.
Kyler was good for like the first 8 games, and then they realized, oh, if we make this motherfucker sit in the pocket, he's not gonna read because he's too focused playing COD. Anyway, no, his offensive schemes are the easiest thing. All of his teams from college to the NFL have collapsed. His offensive schemes are not good. No, if they're not going to get Caleb, they're going to get Jaden Daniels. They're going to take him over Drake May. And then I think is when it gets interesting, because if I'm the New England Patriots, and this is going to be a hot take, you take Marv at 3. You can get a Bo Nix or Michael, I call him Michael Penix Jr. in the second round, but then guarantee you're throwing to a generational potential Hall. And I'm going to say this right now. Marvin Harrison Jr. can be a Hall of Famer. Like he's better than his dad. Hopefully he doesn't shoot anyone.
Now, I can safely say if the Patriots are going to be doing that, you still have to find a way to get Mac Jones out of there. Like, seriously, you have to go out there. You got to, like, honestly, why not get Jameis Winston possibly? Get a veteran quarterback in there. Spend like 1 or 2 years at least. Oh, yeah, that's a W. That's a W. Let's see one. You can at least get like 1 or 2 years with a veteran quarterback. Go and draft someone possibly in the next year's draft, even though next year's draft is pretty horrible. But still, you can find a way to have a veteran quarterback, and then Marvin Harrison can have a vet quarterback to get receiving yards from.
Who's the best quarterback they'd get, though? I mean, they already tried Cam Newton. That didn't work out.
I mean,
like I said, you can get a
Jameis
Winston. You can get a Gardner Minshew. I don't want to say Kirk Cousins because I think it's safe to say that Kirk Cousins is most likely going to stay with Minnesota. He said he's willing to take a smaller contract just to stay with Minnesota. I mean, I just clearly don't see that the Patriots are going to be riding with Mac Jones.
All right, we can.
Oh, no way. He's gone.
We can just pivot.
Especially with Belichick out, who seemed to have some kind of weird faith in Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He's walking. There's no way.
I mean, yeah. We can just pivot to the draft as well, and then we'll go to the other topics because we're already doing well. So, I mean, this draft, I've done a lot of research. I subscribe to someone on Patreon who literally gives all these draft tapes and films. So I'm going to be going over film and, breaking it down for our YouTube channel. But you'll like this, Nick. This is one of the best draft classes for offensive tackles. There's going to be at least potential 5 or 6 going in the first round. I mean, Joe Alt coming from Notre Dame is Quentin Nelson was a generational guard. That's been proven. Joe Alt, size, speed, everything. He's going to be great. But where it gets interesting is after that, I truly don't know. I don't know if Joe Alt's going to drop to the Jets. That's the bigger question because if I'm what pick do the Jets have again?
I want to say that they have
10 or 11, right?
10th pick? Yeah, I think it's the 10th pick.
If Rome Odunze is not there at 9, which I doubt he will be, and Joe Alt, by the grace of God, is there, although I think he's going to go 7. If I'm the Bears, you have to take him because we've all seen what happens when you get a great quarterback in the draft and don't build an offensive line around him, which leads into a great topic, Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah. So we can talk about it right now. So what's pretty interesting is that, we have like a group chat that we discuss, and Mikey and Brandon have been discussing that if Joe Burrow gets another serious injury, because he had this really messed up injury with his wrist, and then he started the season with a ankle injury, and he's been having a series of injuries. He in his first season, he tore his ACL, MCL, and his PCL to get this really ridiculous knee surgery. That one more bad injury, he's going to be the next generation Andrew Luck. So I want you guys to just take the room right now and just discuss about that specific conversation that you two had.
Well, I mean, look, Joe Burrow is I love Josh Allen. I'm a Bills fan, but Joe Burrow is the true number 2 to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, everything says so. All right, he beat him in an AFC Championship game. Only quarterback other than Brady to beat him in the postseason. He has the head-to-head against Allen. I'm pretty sure he's positive against Lamar as well. So Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. But if he gets injured, yeah, I mean, I think he's one injury away from either not being the same or I don't know. I mean, he's got a good team around him. The Bengals are built for success. They're built for a championship. And I think if he stays healthy, the Bengals are
basically the Burrows. No, I'm kidding.
The Bengals are a real dark horse team going into next year because everyone's looking at how close some other teams got, and that's great. But I think the Bengals are a serious threat. I also think they're one injury away from entering another dark age.
I mean, because here's the big thing. They have Orlando Brown Jr., who fucking sucks. But besides that, I think at one point they had fucking Bobby Hart. Now, I don't want to say that's going to get us canceled. Bobby Hart is like the equivalent in terms of hatred of Sean McDermott making the 9/11 thing to pump his team up.
Yeah.
Like, if you have Bobby Hart as a tackle, you want your quarterback to. I mean, here's the thing. Burrow's great. It was the calf injury. He couldn't move. That's fine. You have Jamar Chase. Now, a lot of people say you could have had Penei Sewell. When you have the chance to reunite Burrow with Jamar Chase, with how much success they had in college, you do that 10 times out of 10.
100%.
That's not my issue. My issue is if this year Brock Bowers somehow drops to 18 and they're like, oh, let's take Brock Bowers. And then Joe Burrow gets hurt in week 6. It's not that hard. You see Patrick Mahomes. They spent a lot of money on that offensive line. Creed Humphreys was, I believe, a second-round pick. They have Mr. False Start, Jawan Taylor, who they paid a lot of money. And I think Smith at left tackle. They've put in money. Are they great? No, they had the most holding penalties. And also, before people complain, the Super Bowls are holding penalties are not called in the Super Bowl. That's fine. But it's not that hard. Brady had. And now, here's where the Cam Newton thing that it's going to bring up. Cam Newton called Brady a game manager. That's not a bad thing. Tom Brady was a game manager. The best quarterback of all time.
Yes, no, it's not a bad thing. It's used to insult quarterbacks who are in systems.
Yeah. Purdy's a system. And no, but Brady, great offensive line. Eli Manning, those 2 years we won the Super Bowl, great offensive line. I believe it was 2 All-Pros. Sean, I believe it was either David Deal, Sean O'Hara or Chris Snee was one of them, and then it was either O'Hara or David Deal as the other. When you think of the Packers, Bakhtiari, the Steelers always had great offensive lines with Le'Veon Bell. It's not that hard. I'm not saying draft one in the first round, even though you should, but it just seems all they're focused on is going offense, offense, offense. Newsflash, you can't fucking succeed on offense if your quarterback's dead.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I think Burrow is a system quarterback. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think he'd be great in any system. I think he'd make things happen. I think with him, we're seeing what happens when you put a great quarterback in a great system, of course, but also you don't put the right O-line around them. He's a glass cannon. I think next season, we're either going to see Burrow come back and say, hey, Mahomes and the Chiefs, you got lucky against me in the AFC Championship game. And you got lucky that I was injured last season. This is Burrow and the Bengals era. I think it's either going to be that or Burrow gets injured and that's it. It's just Mahomes, and if anyone else can get lucky in this era, that's it.
Well, I like what Brandon said about the whole O-line thing, because it's been not even a secret at this point that Joe Burrow needs an O-line. Do you guys remember that preseason video before he even had that calf injury? Literally, he just gets a snap, and literally the whole fucking defense just blew past O-line.
Bro,
Everyone
his
was like
rookie
praying.
year,
They were
bro,
literally
his
praying for
rookie
this
year was
man.
awful.
It was awful.
It's like he's a mix of a system quarterback and a Jets quarterback with
Pretty
that
much.
offensive line.
I mean,
that's
think of
true.
it
With those
in the Super
receivers,
Bowl.
that amazing receiving core, but then that O line, it's like you never know. Is this guy going to throw 90 yards for a touchdown, or is he going to get his season ended right here?
And then we also saw in the beginning of the season, you can make the same argument and say like, oh, Joe Burrow was dealing with a calf injury for the beginning of the season. That's why they started. I think it was like 0-4 or 0-3. I know
Well,
they
no,
were
it was
winless for the
just
first
proven.
couple
Once
weeks.
he was healthy, he was fine. But then he got hurt
Yeah.
because he.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And well, the thing is, in week 1, the Bengals were against the Cleveland Browns, and guess who's on the Cleveland Browns? The defensive player of the year this year, and Myles Garrett, and he destroyed them. It's like at the end of the day, I think that was the game that Joe Burrow had a career high in sacks. I think it was. It was like 7. I think it was. Or
Yeah,
something.
That's
and-
saying something because he gets sacked like fucking crazy.
But the
He
last
does.
time he was sacked 7 times, it was the Super Bowl. And we all remember that last play. Yes, it's Aaron Donald. Before anyone says Aaron Donald is not the greatest defensive player of all time, he's not even top 3. It's Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, and then you could argue who's 3. But anyway, if he had time, Jamar Chase was wide open because Jalen Ramsey fell. Only if he had time. That was the thing. If Joe Burrow gets a great offensive line, there's no stopping that offense. Now, it's going to be interesting. They don't have the offensive coordinator. Callahan left to the Titans. I still think Burrow's going to be fine because I believe now I was wrong on Harbaugh because I forgot and mixed him up with his brother. I believe Zach Taylor is an offensive guy and no, he might be defensive. You know what? Fuck this shit. I'm looking it up.
Well, you know what's crazy? I just want to take it back one step. If Burrow made that throw to Chase in the Super Bowl, the conversation about this era is completely different.
Exactly.
Because that was everyone's like, oh yeah, the Rams won one, but it was kind of fluky. They went balls to the wall and it worked out. But if the Bengals got a ring, especially after they'd beaten the Chiefs to get there, I don't think we're settled on this is the era of the Chiefs yet.
I was right. Okay, I was right.
He
was the quarterback. He was the quarterback. Oh fuck, he was already Cincinnati's oh no, that was in college. Never mind.
Honestly, with this conversation that we're all having right now, I think it's safe to say that you got to have to release Joe Mixon so you have the money to get the O-line at the end of the day.
There's some good offensive linemen available. I mean, if they need a guard or a center, Cody Whitehair was just released. There's gonna be more. Let's check free agent tracker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that like running backs are a dime a dozen, but the game has evolved so much that running isn't what it used to be where you're handing it off to a guy and he's getting you 15 yards. You're handing it off to a guy, he's getting you maybe 4 yards and eating the clock and opening up receiving options. So, I mean, and when you have that receiving core, you can do that with any running back.
Oh, they
It's
have to cut Mixon.
And also, it's very rare to have a running back have like a very long span season. I mean, this recent Hall of Fame class, Marshawn Lynch, I know he came out of retirement, then retired, came out of retirement multiple times. But in his first time when he retired at 29 years old before he came out of retirement to play for the Raiders. It's just that these running backs, I mean, and they've been saying this argument about with Saquon, with Josh Jacobs, and also Jonathan Taylor. It's like, we want our money, but the thing is, how many years are you guys going to really be playing at the end of the day?
Derrick Henry.
And look at, I mean, Derrick Henry, he's open to straight up saying that he's going to be playing next season. I'm not too sure if even anyone's going to even sign him because I don't know what kind of contract he wants. And he's not even coming close to even considering retirement. And you've probably seen all the videos of Derrick Henry working out and stuff, but like, I don't even see. I mean, look at Dalvin Cook, a guy who used to be so dominant, and then he just basically fell off. He was terrible with the Jets. The reason why he signed because he wanted to get a touchdown from Aaron Rodgers. Didn't happen. Didn't play a single bit.
He was great in week 1 against Buffalo, unfortunately.
Yeah. Does he still can't catch like his brother?
No, he can't.
Well, does that mean he can catch or am I
No,
missing
they both
James
can't
Cook
catch.
Can't catch for sure. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, both of them
can't catch.
Yeah, I mean, James Cook has his traditional drop a pass that would have gotten a touchdown.
Yeah, but it's always a touchdown. That's the funny thing. It's never like, like a 3rd and 10 screen. It's always, let me drop the ball at the worst possible time.
Oh, yeah. No, he makes like clutch catches farther back, but there's always a catch for a touchdown that he drops.
So I actually kind of want to go straight into this discussion because I already mentioned the Hall of Fame class. So as we already know, in the 2025 Hall of Fame class, we have a pretty stacked class for first years. I already mentioned with Marshawn Lynch as one of them. We also have the top one in Luke Kuechly. We also have Earl Thomas, Adam Vinatieri, Eli Manning, Clay Matthews, Terrell Suggs, Aqib Talib, the late Demaryius Thomas, and also Vernon Davis. And there's also much more, but those are the big names that I'm thinking about right now. So, Mikey, I'm going to give you this question. Who do you think is going to be an easy pick for this 2025 Hall of Fame class?
There is simply no way that Eli Manning does not get in first ballot. Okay. Does he deserve it? I don't know. I mean, I'd say yes personally, but Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, you can never talk about him without discussing Eli Manning. And it's not like Nick Foles, where it was one game where he might have gotten lucky. It was statistically kind of fluky. Eli Manning is getting in. There's no question. He beat him in the Super Bowl not once, but twice. So I'm saying Eli. I'm also saying, who else is eligible? Marshawn Lynch, obviously.
Buffalo Bill legend.
Buffalo Bill legend. Yeah, Marshawn Lynch, I mean, won a Super Bowl, was amazing in it. Would have won back-to-back if his coach
gave him the ball.
They gave him the ball to make a 1-yard run. Yeah. So yeah, he's in. I think Vinatieri is getting in. Everyone talks about, how great Harrison Butker is with Mahomes and how Mahomes doesn't deserve a kicker that good. But Brady with Vinatieri was like even worse. Like a quarterback that good didn't deserve to have a kicker that good, but he did. Like you can guarantee the Patriots were getting 3 on the board if they made it past the 40-yard line. Let me see who else is available, is eligible this year.
We got Luke Kuechly. We got Aqib Talib.
He's the surefire one.
The late and fortunate of Demaryius Thomas.
He won't make it first.
And then we also have Clay Matthews. We got a pretty big stack of
I think
names.
I had the most to say about those 3, so go ahead.
Eli, here's the thing. I love Eli. I can see him not getting in first ballot, though. I can just see some scenario. He deserves it, but I'm biased. Kuechly, that's the surefire one. He was a Hall of Famer when he retired. He would have been a Hall of Famer if he kept playing. Vinatieri, he's going to get in. Lynch, I can see getting in. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't get in first ballot because Edgerrin James didn't get in first ballot, I believe.
Someone's going to get snubbed in this class.
You know who I think deserves it, but probably won't get the recognition? Terrell Suggs. I believe if you look at the sack leader list.
Terrell Suggs, Ball So Hard University. If you guys don't know what that is, that's basically.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's the best.
Who doesn't?
It's better than the. It's better than the. I'm Tony Gonzalez.
That one was funny though.
That was awesome.
I mean, so if you look at the all-time sack leader, I believe he's in the top 10. Yeah, he's number 8 of all time. And is ahead of people like Lawrence Taylor, Richard Dent, DeMarcus Ware. 3 guys that are in the Hall of Fame. I can see Jared Allen getting in next year. He's not first ballot. He's not a first ballot. He was on the first ballot this year. But I think the locks are Suggs, Kuechly, Eli Manning, and Vinatieri. Demaryius Thomas, he was a great player. I don't see him getting in the Hall of Fame, sadly. It's Earl Thomas now.
Earl Thomas is a piece of shit.
Yeah, he should go in the Hall of Fame of being a piece of shit.
Much, yeah. Won't forget the moment that he's being carted off the field and he starts flipping off Pete Carroll.
I don't blame him for that, though. They didn't want to pay him his money. No, it's just the whole shit with him and that whole debacle. I'm not even going to go into it because I don't even fucking understand it. I just think it'd be so funny if Eli gets into when he gets in the Hall of Fame and just has Brady have the one present and talk over everything. Just be like, oh.
Do you guys have you seen that recent video where Eli Manning was up against Super Hot
Fire?
And he straight up was just like, Brady the GOAT, I beat him twice, and people just went nuts.
Yeah,
I love Super Hot Fire.
I think that's why there's no way Eli doesn't get in first ballot. I mean, you got to remember the award show is also like, they also want viewership. So they see that Eli Manning, the bane of Tom Brady's existence, is getting inducted, people are going to watch, and they're going to watch for the jokes about Brady too. I mean, again, twice. I don't have anything else to say. Twice. The Eagles. So what? Brady lost to the Eagles. He beat them once, so that cancels that. He lost to the Giants twice.
Mhm.
So it just.
Back when my football team didn't give me crippling depression.
Don't
I
talk
can't
to
say
me
shit.
about
I'm.
that.
You guys at least make the playoffs most of the time.
Oh, I'm so
Thanks.
happy.
Nick's
Thanks.
a Jets fan.
I
Nick's a
mean-
Jets fan. Hey, you beat the
Hey.
Patriots though.
I mean,
You have one. You guys both have Super Bowls, so go watch highlights of Super Bowl III.
yeah.
I'm
we
gonna
had a
watch.
Super-
I'm
I
gonna
have
watch
a
highlights
squad.
of the 1990 Super Bowl. That one's my favorite one.
we
Yeah,
got
I'm sure it is.
the Jets got a Super Bowl in Super Bowl III.
I have
Okay,
a
that
hot
was-
take. Joe
That
Namath
was
is
like
not
that
a
was,
Hall
that
of
was
Famer.
55 years ago, bro.
Joe Namath
All right,
is not a Hall of
then,
Famer.
all right, if you're using that logic to insult yourself, can I count the Bills' AFL championships as rings? The answer is no, right? So enjoy your Super Bowl III. Shut up and leave me and other Bills fans alone.
Joe Namath is not a Hall of Famer. I just want to state that. He's only in the Hall because he said he was going to beat the Colts. But if you look at his career, dude was dog shit. He was dog shit.
I mean,
Mark Sanchez is better, so yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
oh god, Mark Sanchez, what a guy.
Butt fumble.
Yeah,
Also, just want to state one thing. I've watched tape on the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan got his ass handed to him. Deebo Samuel can't beat man coverage. Brock Purdy can't read man coverage.
and what's pretty interesting that ever since Kyle Shanahan's made it to the Super Bowl, all he's seen is an overtime loss.
10-point leads.
10-point
least.
leads. And of course,
Run the fucking ball.
And of course, to end the Super Bowl, they got to lose by 3 points in honor of DeMar Hamlin. You got
Oh, yeah.
It's part of the script. You got it's just part of the script. You got it.
I'm so fucking happy he didn't win Comeback Player of the Year. You guys can get
Oh, and throw it to the only Jets player this century to play for the Jets and win a Super Bowl same year.
Oh yeah, McCole Hardman, the guy who caught the Super Bowl game-winning touchdown, and then
Didn't know.
immediately the Jets were like, "All right, here's our brand new uniforms that are coming out in April," because they're trying
you
to
guys
hide the
change
fact
your
that they're
uniforms every
depressing.
fucking year.
I know we change our uniforms and change our logo every single time. It's like,
I have a hot take.
what is it?
Aaron Rodgers is gonna. No, I can't say that's too hot.
What, Aaron Rodgers is not going to play this season?
No, he's gonna play, but I think he's gonna get hurt again. He's 40.
I mean, if we don't, I mean, if the Jets actually, have a good O-line, which, safe to say, we don't have the cap space for an O-line.
And you guys are talking about getting Devontae Adams when he's now not leaving Vegas because they got Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, there's no way.
You should fucking cut Alan Lazard, who has a $20 million cap hit.
Hey, we got to see how he does with Aaron Rodgers, all right?
He was dog shit with Rodgers
know.
in the first place.
He was.
I still don't know. Now, I want to sign Odell. I want to sign Randall Cobb, who was a fucking corpse.
Wanted to sign.
What else is the chance in the AFC East? It's going to be the Buffalo Bills again. They're not going to make the Super Bowl, but they're going to win the AFC East.
Yeah,
Again.
9-8.
It's easy to say that. I mean, I don't see the Dolphins playing.
Dolphins are going to regress next year.
They're going to, because at this point, I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it in the last 2 weeks of their season against the Bills and also against the Chiefs. I mean, they know how to play against Tua. They know how to play against Tyreek, and that's gonna, be in, everyone's gonna be seeing that in their review
There's
center and just
still gonna
watch.
be people having one-on-one coverage with Tyreek Hill because maybe he should just start doing this instead of a peace sign to honor DeMar Hamlin.
God damn it!
It was so funny because during the pre-show of the honors, they had to fucking share his special team stats. They said, 100 snaps on special teams because he didn't fucking play.
If the Make-A-Wish play made it.
If the Bills were in the Super Bowl because of that Make-A-Wish play, that man's winning comeback player of the year.
No, he's winning MVP. He would have won Super Bowl MVP. He would have touched the ball once.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the fact that Josh Allen got one first place MVP vote. I mean, it was obvious that Lamar was going to win, but that, like Mikey said, the true MVP is Josh Allen.
You agree with
Lamar
that, or are you goading me? Are you goading me here?
No, I agree with it.
He
But
should not have gotten 50 votes or 49 votes.
I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised at the fact that Josh Allen came in 5th and Dak Prescott was 2nd. That's my personal opinion.
Allen led the league in total yardage, counting rushing and passing. Led the league in total touchdowns and accounted for like 81% of the Bills' touchdowns in the regular season. I don't think any other of the MVPs came close. MVP finalists came close to those stats. I get it. The turnovers were costly. There were a lot of them. But I mean, if a couple things go differently, like if the Bills don't have 12 men on the field, if he doesn't throw it right to Whitehead week 1, I mean,
which time?
The first time. Other 4 times were acceptable. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, Lamar is great. I don't think anyone here would deny that Lamar is great. But it just seemed ridiculous that it was a radical opinion that the first quarterback to have 4 consecutive 40 touchdown seasons placed 5th overall in MVP voting.
Yeah, that's basically.
And also the Bills, I just don't think they're a good team without Josh Allen. I think they're playing for a draft pick without him. So, what defines most valuable player? Is it best player on the
best quarterback? It's best quarterback.
At the end of the day, it's a quarterback award, and it's also the best quarterback at the end.
Lamar Jackson's overrated though, and I'm gonna get hate for that. I'm not saying overrated is a bad thing. Some people are putting him up on the pedestal as greatest quarterback of all time. I'm sorry, I don't give a flying. We all said this with Peyton Manning. No one gave a flying fuck about his MVPs when he was not winning Super Bowls. Lamar cannot win the big game. He fucking threw the ball in triple coverage. He's overrated to the fact where people are ranking him in a top 5 quarterback of all time.
Okay,
he's
but
a great quarterback.
Here's the thing. Despite what you just said, Peyton still won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
but not during his MVP seasons. His last season when he won the Super Bowl, it was hands down his worst season.
Didn't he? No, he won in 2006 though. He won in 2006.
He won in 2006, but did he win MVP that year?
Yeah.
Oh, he did? Okay, never mind.
I believe so.
I don't really fault him for that. Peyton Manning carried defenses his entire career, so
I mean that defense was hands down the best defense that we've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
I mean it was just absolutely
of all time. Wait, the Broncos defense of all time. It's not the greatest defense of all time.
One
of.
It's
the best team we've seen or defense we've seen this year or during our
time. Yeah. I mean, they literally made MVP Cam Newton go back to like just a normal ass quarterback, and he just
I was wrong.
So who won? Who won MVP in 2006?
LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. He had 26 touchdowns.
26 touchdowns.
28 touchdowns. 28 rushing touchdowns. 3 receiving touchdowns.
Oh my lord!
People are already saying though that no one is in unanimous agreement as to who it should have actually been. It's all over the place, but a lot of people are agreeing that this was like one of the weaker MVP picks.
This is the worst one in recent memory.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to get to the point that there's never going to be a unanimous winner. I mean, they're going to make arguments here and there. There's always going to be that one journalist that's going to be like, I want to be different. We even saw that. I'm going to switch to different sports. We saw that with the whole Giancarlo Stanton situation when he won MVP. If that one journalist decided to not pick Chris Bryant to win MVP, it was going to either be him or it was either going to be Stanton or Joey Votto.
Should have been
Stanton won by 2 votes. If that one journalist decides, all right, I'm going to make my vote and give it to Joey Votto would have won by 1 point. I'm just saying. I mean, journalists just like to be different and just like to, decide to pick.
I guarantee you someone didn't want it to be Lamar because he's a black quarterback and people still think it's wrong. I mean, if they're going with the racist thing, Patrick Mahomes is not white. So and they're calling him the greatest quarterback of all time. So you can't have that. Just like when he came into the league, they're like, he's a running back. Like, I guarantee you they didn't give him the vote because he's a black quarterback.
I mean, I remember in this, like,
wait, are you talking about the one guy who voted for Jeff?
Oh, you cut off a little bit. But as I was saying before, in his first season, All right, Mikey's cutting off a little bit, but
On for a second. What happened?
you cut
Wait,
off
I'm
a little
back.
bit.
I'm back. No, I'm not back. Shit.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hold on. Okay.
All right,
you're
I
back.
got a buggy ass window right now.
All right, you're fine. As I was
We're
saying
good.
before, in Lamar's first season, when he won his first MVP season, everyone just kept saying all he liked to do was just run the ball. And then his next season, he was like, I don't want to be a running back. I want to actually throw the ball. So a lot of people are making arguments and saying that all he's good at doing is running. And you can say that argument he did that in his this current MVP season. He did throw the ball, but I mean, there was moments that he did run the ball a lot.
He led the league in passing touchdowns his MVP year, though. He was unanimous, but rightfully so. I mean, it was only 33 touchdowns. It was a very low year. No, I mean, here's the thing. Lamar's great. When it comes to crunch time, dog shit. I mean, I don't know if it's on Isaiah Likely. It's on both of them. Both of them are fucking sped. And yeah, Mike, insert the clip. He literally puts his hand up like, oh, I'm open. It was 3 motherfuckers there.
Yeah, that was... I mean, and also in his first MVP season, he got crushed by the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, that was Derrick Henry putting his...
that was Derrick Henry being Derrick Henry.
He was just going like...
He was literally... Yeah, but even that, like, Lamar Jackson didn't even know where to go when he was running the ball. Like, literally, they knew exactly how to play him. Well, and it was the same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think we can agree if postseason mattered for MVP voting, it would have been between Allen and McCaffrey. Because
it should have been McCaffrey in the first. If McCaffrey, I would say this: McCaffrey. No, if Tyreek doesn't get hurt and he breaks the record, he would have won MVP. I I mean, we're never.
There's no way they're giving it to Tyreek ever for the PR.
We're never going to see.
There's going to be no way they're going to give it to a non-quarterback. It's a quarterback award at the end.
I just care about Offensive Player of the Year now. That's the award people care about. Because now you can see who it actually goes to. McCaffrey was the best offensive player. MVP, just like, and I'll say this for baseball, for the NL. Ohtani's a generational player. But if you're just going to always give it to him, have the most valuable player and best player.
Well, I mean, like I said,
never forget though, Judge had more WAR just hitting than Ohtani had in 2022 pitching and hitting. I just want to state
which is crazy because that was hands down like his best pitching season. You could say the same thing about his hitting season, but Judge
was it a little Mahomes-esque? It was a little Mahomes.
He's a little Mahomes.
Also, I just want to say I watched the Nickelodeon broadcast.
You did?
I turned it off turned to Nickelodeon at halftime because hearing Tony Romo choke on Mahomes' meat all the time. I
was Josh too, so I can handle it.
I was there for the Super Bowl commercials. That's why I didn't switch to the Nickelodeon. But I saw all the clips of
18 Temu commercials.
Yeah, there was way too many. The Super Bowl commercials were horrible this year. I mean,
I think they
$7 million for a 30-second commercial was absolute horseshit. They did terrible.
They've sucked in recent years. I feel like early 2010s.
I don't know. Okay, also, I don't know why they decided to keep the whole entire FanDuel bullshit with Gronkowski kicking. That was
they took several
takes. Buffalo man misses field goal wide right.
They also took several takes, and they decided to take the one that he missed. I saw someone's TikTok video of it. Like
last year, that was hands down the worst fucking commercial. It looked like it went in, and he said it's no good.
Last year went in.
Last year went in, and he said it was no good. Then this year, they're like, okay, let's bring it back. Why the fuck would you bring it back? I know it probably made a shit ton of money, but still, at the end of the day, it was a horrible commercial. I mean, come on.
Oh, no, it's not next year. You know what's also interesting? Totally off topic. Larry Fitzgerald, I believe, is eligible. I don't know, because I don't know if you have to officially retire.
Is not eligible.
I don't know.
They keep saying he's a free agent, but...
Well, he is. He hasn't officially retired. So I don't know if when he officially retires, everyone knows he's not playing again, if he can... Because I think it's either he'd be eligible next year or the year after, or 2025. But... Because he last played in 2020, and if it's 5-6 years, then he's eligible. But I don't know if you have to officially retire to do it.
I don't know. I mean, you can say the same argument with, like, Bartolo Colon. He never said that he was going to retire. He kept saying, like, oh, I'm going to be playing. And then he was just in this. Hall. And then he didn't even make it to the Hall.
He's not even going to. He didn't even. Well, he didn't. Steroids. I think he made the list and didn't get the certain amount of votes.
Yeah, you need to get. You need to have. I think it's like less than 5% of the vote, and then you're eliminated. So he didn't even get even close to that. So he's not even eligible in there. But it's like
2008
that specific
Cardinals-
situation.
2008
man?
Cardinals are one of those teams that I wish could just have a ring, but obviously.
I mean, if James Harrison didn't have that 98-yard pick six, which is the most.
It's also just
I love
like-
James Harrison.
He's very scary man. I would not want to run over the middle of the field. He would kill me. No, I mean, no. If there's one player in the NFL that deserved a ring the most, it's Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, from being the ball boy for the Vikings and learning from Chris, I think he has more career tackles than career drops, which is one of the craziest stats I've ever heard. He has more career tackles than drops.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you're right that it's Larry Fitzgerald. I might say Cam Newton, but like, you don't dive for that ball in the Super Bowl, you kind of don't deserve
What
to
is
get
wrong
the
with
ring.
that man? What the fuck is he doing? All right, so I think that's a good point to stop right there. So thank you all for watching today's episode of just anything that we wanted to talk about. We had ideas of like just talking about specific topics, and then we wanted to talk more about other stuff. I had a great conversation with you guys. It was a pleasure being with you guys
I also
today.
have some news. Got some news.
What is it?
After the NFL Combine, we'll be bringing on someone that writes for the Giants Wire. His name's Kevin. I forgot his last name already. It's my friend Kevin. Used to work at another place with him, but he's going to be joining us to talk about the NFL Draft.
Awesome. So keep a lookout on that. We're also going to be getting ready to talk some more offseason stuff for the NFL. You know, the draft's coming up pretty soon. The NFL Combine's getting up pretty soon. And then also, Mikey and Brandon, would you like to mention about your brand new boxing podcast? Possibly.
Yes, we're starting a
Yes.
boxing podcast because there's just nothing out there now, even though boxing is a little bit dead right now because Tyson Fury got hurt. I just want to say hurt.
I mean, did you see that gash in his eye, though? It's pretty deep. I mean, like,
Hurt.
yeah, whatever. But
Pretty sure
Yeah.
that was the same gash he got against Otto Valine, so it might
Oh,
have
that
been,
one was I remember that one was nasty.
that one was
well,
just tough.
it might have been an old picture and he wanted more time to train. I don't know. I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but we will discuss that on the brand new boxing podcast.
Yep. So keep a lookout on that. Keep a lookout on that podcast. That's gonna be coming up pretty soon. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and on X/Twitter, whatever you want to talk about it.
and
also
subscribe.
And also subscribe to this channel. And also check out our website. We're gonna be putting our podcast clips on here, and then we're also be getting some articles up pretty soon. We promise we're gonna get some articles up pretty soon. We're all busy. Don't worry, we're just all busy. So thank you guys for
Baseball
watching.
soon. Baseball.
Baseball's coming
Yes.
up.
Yes.
Next week is going to be starting baseball season for spring training. Well, actually, it's next Thursday. So we're going to be getting excited to possibly talk about some baseball pretty soon with you guys. So thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick Antonianis with Mikey Malashchek, Brandon Kramer. Mike, why are you not here? Why you didn't show up?
In memoriam.
Feels so sad that Mike is not here with us.
We
But
got to do a Make-A-Wish play for him now.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you.
3-man
in
podcast for
the
DeMar.
next-
That's what we do.
Yep, that's it.